All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course, where 150 viewers are waiting and chat is moving, so I don't think there will be any problems. We got some fun news today. We got to talk about cicadas, among other things. Yeah, some of you in the Midwest, you're about to get hit slamma-jamma this summer. We've got J.K. Rowling effectively threatening the Scottish government, saying, go ahead and sue me, bro. Put me in jail. I believe in the existence of females, which are not actually protected under one of their new hate crime laws. And they say that they're going to have a little bit of an addendum later. So women less protected than certain other groups. And it's hilarious. It makes no sense. But J.K. Rowling is rich enough and far left enough to have enough fans to, I think, weather the storm. We've got the possibility that we're going to have a new CHAZ garden at Zuccotti Park in New York City, actually. Welcome to the People's Park. It is a pro-Palestine protest by some of the leftists over there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, because I'm going to lose it laughing if we have another CHAZ garden moment and they decide to clear out the plants and like plant veggie greens or something like that, because they don't know how to grow anything. My garden, meanwhile, is going really well, although we are waiting for a winter storm. Yes, the last blast of winter over the coming couple of days, and then it warms back up and the snow will be cleared out within a few days after that. It's just basically going to turn to water anyway. Thinking about putting the pak choi outside today because it's established enough. I don't want it to get too leggy, and probably it would be able to weather that sort of temperature. I think it's cold hardy enough, so we'll see. We've got the cicada invasion. And thankfully, this morning I was slightly wrong. I expected this double swarm was effectively continent-wide. Thankfully, it is not. We're going to get the odd cicada here, but those of you in Iowa, you're going to have a real fucking problem, because two swarms are emerging at the same time for the first time in about 200 years. So, you might want to get your earplugs now. We've got CNN having a meltdown over Stacey Abrams, actually. Fareed Zakaria calls Stacey Abrams an election denier in a debate over Ronna McDaniel's firing from NBC. It's funny as fuck, and we'll be getting into that. Google having to delete billions of browsing records because it turns out incognito mode, predictably, was not fully incognito. Yes, indeed, when you use big tech, you don't have the expectation of privacy like you do on new tech and certain things like that. And also AI improves monsoon rainfall predictions. I am excited about this. This is good science news. AI, when single tasked, is better than any meteorologist is ever going to be. Weather patterns, fucking seismic activity. We can predict all sorts of things with AI, but we'll get into that in more detail. That will be important. It's going to be a big advance for society. If used properly and without human bias, which they're deliberately trying to inject, we can do all sorts of great things with artificial intelligence. Tigers are my totem sent $5. There was no super chat. Thank you very much anyway. The Gen X gamer, Barron Trump is now 18. Will liberals go after him? Yeah, Sington was the one to fire the first shot across the bow on that, because he's a little bit of a creepazoid. Alan Smithy, I'm getting Havana syndrome in the U.S. because cicadas. Yes, there will be a huge cicada swarm in the Midwestern states, also a singular swarm in most of the Deep South. We'll get the sporadic outbreak of cicadas, I'm sure, here, but thankfully the double swarm does not actually impact New England. I'm pleased by this because cicadas are noisy as fuck. I don't know how many decibels they operate at, but it ain't crickets and pee-pee toads. J.K. Rowling in Arrest Me challenge over hate crime law. Yeah, J.K. Rowling, who is supposedly far right now, despite being an absolute feminist and progressive, has challenged Scotland's new hate crime law in a series of social media posts, inviting police to arrest her if they believe she has committed an offense. Yeah, they're going to show up to J.K. Rowling's castle and arrest her. It's a little bit of bravado here. The Harry Potter author described several transgender women as men, including convicted prisoners, trans activists, and other public figures. She said freedom of speech and belief was at an end if accurate description of biological sex was outlawed. Earlier, Scotland's First Minister, Humza Yousaf, said the new law would deal with a rising tide of hatred that would not exist if the far left had not overextended with its id poll, by the way. The hate crime and public order Act 2021 creates a new crime of stirring up hatred relating to age, disability, religion, sexual orientation, transgender identity, or being intersex. The law does not protect women as a group from hatred. I wonder why J.K. Rowling would be slightly rankled by this, considering she is a feminist, a female. The Scottish government is expected to include this later in a separate misogyny law. We'll see if they get around to that, considering the name of their first minister. Probably not on the priority list now, is it? Miss Rowling, who has long been a critic of some trans activism, posted on X the day the new legislation came into force. She wrote, Scottish lawmakers seem to have placed higher values on the feelings of men performing their idea of femaleness, however misogynistically or opportunistically, than on the rights and freedoms of actual women and girls. She added, it is impossible to accurately describe or tackle the reality of violence and sex violence committed against women and girls, or address the current assault on women's and girls' rights unless we are allowed to call a man a man. Freedom of speech and belief are at an end in Scotland if the accurate description of biological sex is deemed criminal. I agree with her. Yeah, I'm agreeing with a radfem, a third wave feminist. We've gotten to that strange point in time where radfems are now, far right, supposedly. It's never made much sense to me. I mean, this has been going on for a number of years, but it's like, cool it off, people. Is it really that important that we protect the rights of men over women? I believe, call me antiquated, but I believe in some degree of chivalry, and I refuse to join the woman-hating club that has predominated in some circles for some time. I mean, we're at the point where we're going to see a weird fusion where third-wave feminists and MGTOW fundamentally believe the same thing. That's going to be a very, very strange time, I am sure. So I'm Team J.K. Rowling on this. And of course, Harry Potter is a good book series. Not as good in the movies. I mean, Emma Watson aside, the movies were mediocre compared to the books. Personally, I prefer Luna Lovegood, myself. I think that I speak for many people out there. Cam2425IA won't hear the cicadas over my tinnitus anyway. Lucky you. Aquafan, I attend an independent Baptist church and consider myself a born-again evangelical Christian. My roommate is Catholic. Christianity and Catholicism are not the same. I prefer evangelical over Protestant. Yes, indeed, they are different. Webster's Wares. Good morning, clankers from Endicott, Washington, deep behind enemy lines. Free shipping using code STICKS at websterswares.com/sticks-wares. Challenge coins are in. Hoodies and beanies arriving this week. Clank. Yeah, before we get deeper into the news, first and foremost, there is a pinned comment at the top on YouTube to my books blogs. You should peruse those at your leisure. But let's get into the merch before we continue, because we've got all sorts of fun, spicy news to cover. We have pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, you can get keychains, belt chains, amulets, and of course engraved spoons. And you should, because they are handmade and they are fun. BiltongUSA.com. Use code STICKS, by the way, at checkout whenever prompted on any of these sites. BiltongUSA.com or AntonsUSA.com. You can get delicious biltong of various kinds. Carbonasi v. Bison. I have to conduct a poll on that one. I've still got a bunch of it in the fridge. I've got to munch my way through. Still got some of the Wagyu as well, I believe. You put that in soup and shit like that. Oh, it's delicious. Use code STICKS there. You can also get mugs and tumblers and shirts. WickedNeedleEmbroidery.BigCartel.com. You can get hats such as this over there. There are several designs available. Again, they are high quality and fun. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com. Again, using code STICKS. You can be entered in to get a full rebate on your order if you order one of their survival seed buckets. They also have soap available now, and it is delectable. And there are more that are coming down the pipeline, and I can't wait to take, 5 showers in a row because they smell so good. We've got Webster'sWares.com, where you can get Trump merch as well as Styx Hexenhammer merch and other miscellanea. Fire starters for survival and stuff like that. I'm going to be getting one of those. Jamandbean.com, JAMNBean.com. Delicious coffee, the Costa Rica blend, of course, I will always fully endorse, full-throatedly, as well as various teas, which originally I didn't know that they had. I figured coffee company. Well, they have teas too, and that's good because I love tea. And finally, mtpew.com. Again, use code STICKS there. They have ammo. They have newly made ammo as well as range brass that has been refilled. And so it's a good value. You can get 9 mil, that is. You can get 5.56, etc. They've got various calibers available. You can shoot things, and shooting things is fucking fun. Let's see. Mayor Mike, yesterday was payday for me and my employees, so today is payday for you. Thank you very, very much, my friend. Just a sec. I think something's happening on StreamYard here. Just a sec. Nah, I guess not. It's just my problem. So yeah, we've got all sorts of fun stuff to cover today. We've got a new CHAZ zone. Potentially, we're going to get a new CHAZ garden. That makes me very, very happy. And I'm actually hoping that the left-wing vandals that have taken over Zuccotti Park in New York City do attempt farming, like their compatriots over in the CHAZ zone. You remember a couple of years during the Summer of Love thing, they took over that park, and it looked like a fallout settlement. And they tried to start a garden, and it didn't go over so well because their idea of gardening is, let's lay down some cardboard, heap some potting soil on top of it, and then we'll plant arugula and stuff like that, and then we'll supposedly feed the poor. There were enough crops there to maybe make one luncheon or something like, you could have a Caesar salad. That's perfectly fine. I could teach them some gardening and farming techniques, actually, that would knock their socks off. I'm single-handedly creating a garden that's greater than anything that was at CHAZ. And they had dozens of people working on that shit. It just shows you the laziness of the far left. My garden is being rehabbed as we speak after this live stream. I'm going out there for a few hours. I'm clearing brush to burning up the old logs because I have to rehab the fire pit too because those got a little bit rotten over time. It's going to be a fun time had by all. And by all, I mean fucking me. You have no idea how many crops I'm going to plant. I look over here. I mean, the morning glories that I planted, they're trying to climb up the side of the little shelf that I've got them on. I'm going to have to carefully untangle them just to put them outside. Those will be fine. I'm doing a second planting today. I'm trying to see the differential. By the way, before I get into this, I want to see the differential. I mixed up my own mix, which was a mix of seed starter, potting soil, and charged biochar with extra perlite. And some of the plants did better than others. Some of them had lower germination, but some of them, they knocked it out of the park. The squash got so big that it started to try to flower, actually. And that's rather abnormal. The okra over there, some of them are a foot tall already. In fact, they're taller than the actual lamp. They're no longer even specifically getting light from it. And I'm probably going to have to replant those because I like okra. I want at least 6 plants because okra is fucking great. And we are in a cold climate, which means that you do have to start things indoors, of course. Meanwhile, these morons over here in Zuccotti Park have signs called No Pigs Allowed and People's Park. Flyer reads, no cop autonomous zone, no cops or yellow vests. Now, of course, the NYPD can come in at any time and clear them out fairly easily. I'm hoping, though, that they rip up all the plants in that little planter that you can see, link in the description. I haven't archived this because it's a video post on Twitter. I'm hoping that they do that. I really am, because it would be fucking hilarious to see them try to grow things. Put in some carrots or something like that. It'd be hilarious. Carrots for the poor. It'll go over really, really well. Illustrator, artist, and cartoonist Kefabe, co-host Ed Piskor, was recently driven to suicide by a harassment mob of SJW comic book pros. He named a number of his attackers in his online suicide note. That's sad. You know how I react to people dogpiling me? I chuckle at them. They're wasting their time. I've had thousands of death threats throughout the year from various groups of people. I've been dogpiled, I've been defamed, etc., and you should never, don't end your life. Don't do that. The fact that you exist and live and thrive puts a thorn in the side of these retards. Oh, I enjoy it every single day. There are people out there that are angry because I'm still alive. I fucking love it. Sigil Stone, did you see the story out of California about a 15-year-old girl that was kidnapped by her dad after he killed the girl's mom and the cops ventilated her ass during a standoff? Cali PD is out of control. Yeah, they have been. Remember Christopher Dorner? You remember that one where they shot up several vehicles that were unrelated to the crimes that were occurring? Christopher Dorner, by the way, great LAPD, Navy SEAL, I believe, as well. He went on the run, and in the end, they Waco'd him, actually. The There's something wrong with StreamYard at the moment, I think. Let me see. Rumble's working fine. I mean, YouTube's working fine too, but there's something glitchy about StreamYard at the moment. My apologies. Yeah. Oh, also, I have a treat for you. You remember that civilian military ration? I fucking can't help myself. I want to see what's inside of it. For the first time, live ration opening. Yes, indeed. I know that these are technically resealable, but not really. I'm wondering what meal is in here. Yeah. I mean, some of the news today isn't so hard-hitting, so we're just going to go with it. This is supposedly a 24-hour ration, a food gift from the people of the United States of America, making it to another citizen of the United States of America at the moment. What is this? Let's see. Bean salad. Yeah, that sounds good. Bean salad, I can deal with that. Bean salad sounds good. What is this? Strawberry jam. By the way, the strawberry jam that the military makes is pretty on point. It's better than some stuff you get in the stores. Beans with potatoes. So you can see there's a lot of beans in here. The bean salad is probably better than the beans and potatoes. Potatoes are one thing that US MREs tend to not do well with. Like if you've gotten the garlic mashed potatoes, it has a weird off-putting scent to it. I've gotten it twice. It didn't get eaten. I tried it and I'm like, ugh. Oatmeal cookie. Yeah, that's not going to be something that I eat because I don't really eat sweets. I did make an exception this morning with my slightly deformed Irish cream monster. We've got sunflower butter. That's a new one. Roasted sunflower seeds, sugar, monodiglycerides, and salt. So it's like peanut butter, but with sunflower, I guess. I'm interested in that. Probably not the greatest for you, but crackers, standard military crackers. Those are always fine. You know, they last forever. Banana apple smoothie. Ingredients: banana puree, maltodextrin, sugar, whole milk solids, apple juice concentrate, water, fully refined soybean oil, contains 2% or less of the following: citric acid, cinnamon, and contains milk. Probably pretty good. Banana apple. I like anything with banana puree in it, so I'm going to enjoy that. What's this? Oh, they give you 2 strawberry jams. I'm wondering what the hell you're supposed to put the second one on. I guess smear it on the oatmeal cookie, maybe. And then they give you a fresh wipe and a spoon, and then a little slip here. Bean salad, beans with potatoes. Oh, that's just the nutrition fact. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy eating some of that shit. I'm interested in the bean salad more than anything else. Not sure exactly what I'm supposed to do with the extra strawberry jam. If you put it, the jams there are not very thick. They're fairly thin. And so when you put just one of these packs on both crackers, it still tries to ooze off the side. So I guess you just eat the second strawberry jam in situ or something. We'll see. So yeah, I had no choice but to open that up live. I've not done that before. Sigil Stone, forget Chris Dorner. Say his name, Daniel Shaver. That story is way more fucked up. Or Ted Bundy. Or that dude who runs the Slate Ridge training camp here in Vermont, actually. Put ketchup on the MRE and eat it right now. I don't really eat on camera, let alone live. Christian Workman, I have to be critical of libertarianism because I don't see anything that would suggest that purely advocating for the NAP and the live and let live mentality is beneficial at our current state. I believe it's highly beneficial, the problem being it's not fully pragmatic at this time. I would agree with you on that. Couch, I just ordered from Jam and Bean. Thanks for the heads up. Yes, I hope that you got the Costa Rica blend. It will be one of the best coffees, at least, that you've had in your life. And I've had a lot of different kinds of coffee, let me tell you. Dutch West Indian Co. Working at the polls today for New York primary. More of us should get involved so this can't be stolen. Good conversation topic as well. Yes, indeed, but the primaries are effectively over. At this point, it's just going through the motions. They are now irrelevant. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on Zuccotti Park if they aren't cleared out by the NYPD by the end of the day, because supposedly they're creating a people's park with no cops allowed. We'll see how that pans out because the NYPD don't take shit as much as the cops over in the upper western states. We'll see what happens. I have a feeling they're going to get their heads beaten in, but, you know. Cicada invasion. Trillions of noisy flying insects to swarm U.S. for the first time in 221 years. The two different broods of cicadas have not risen from the ground simultaneously since Thomas Jefferson was president. Now, this is mainly going to be relegated to the Midwestern states, with some overlap, and it depends community to community how many cicadas there are there. Two broods will be rising at the same time. Any given 13 and 17-year broods will only co-emerge once every 13 times 17, or 221 years. Brood 13 cicadas appear on a 17-year cycle and are restricted mostly to northern Illinois, eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and a few counties in extreme northwestern Indiana, according to entomologist Floyd Shockley of the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of Natural History in Washington. By the way, I need to visit the Smithsonian Museum at some point. Brood 21 emerges on a slightly shorter 13-year cycle and are widely distributed from Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. A total of 15 states, according to Shockley. The two broods together span parts of 17 states. We will be getting cicadas, though, up here, I guarantee. We usually get a few any year because there's always that oddball village idiot cicada that doesn't follow the normal cycle, because they hibernate for years and years and basically as larvae, and then they emerge eventually. And it's been a while since actually there are a significant number of cicadas here, but I'm expecting that there will be some more. I'm expecting there to be a fairly temperate summer. Last summer apparently was massively rainy, hot but rainy. And so there will be a surplus of cicadas potentially. We'll see what happens. But I told the story this morning about many years ago when there were a bunch of cicadas out. And this used to be my bedroom. This didn't used to be an office. 10 years ago, this was my bedroom. And around then, the early 2010s, I think it was, or the tail end of the 2000s, there was a year where there were a bunch of cicadas. And one of them decided to park its ass right in front of the windows there, and we were going through a heat wave. And I told the tale earlier about how I wanted to open the windows because I wanted that night breeze coming in, and, you know, I wasn't going to hook up an AC system. And so I wanted the night air because then it cools off. But I couldn't do that. I had to sit there sweltering because the fucking cicada was outside, and it was so loud I couldn't have the windows open. It was goddamn amazing. Sith 22. Smithsonian is fucking tits. At least it was back when I saw it in the 90s. It's fucking huge. Yeah, I'd like to see the Smithsonian and the British Museum, actually. But I'm probably not welcome in the UK. Just saying. I might have violated some license laws over there. You got a license for that there license? No, you're going to the Hooskow, boy. It's hate speech because you said that gender existed. Fareed Zakaria calls Stacey Abrams an election denier in a debate over Ronna McDaniel's firing from NBC. McDaniel's relationship with NBC was terminated by the company in just 4 days. Technically, it was quicker than that, by the way. That was really funny. And uniting MAGA and the far left, actually, in mutual disdain and hate for Ronna McDaniel. Former head of the RNC, big-time neocon, and it's like, number one, why would you want to be on this network? Because, you know, it's mainly Democratic partisans that watch MSNBC and NBC News. So they made a mistake and they had to fire her. It's number one. Number two, why did you take the position knowing that there would probably be outcry and you'd probably get canned immediately? I didn't even understand it. It didn't make any sense. MAGA populists immediately pointed out, hey, she's a neocon. She has a lot more in common with like the mainline Democratic Party than she does in the MAGA wing of the Republican Party. But yeah, you expected the liberals to understand that nuance, and it didn't happen. CNN host Fareed Zakaria argued Friday on HBO's Real Time that liberals should stop enforcing double standards on their platforms after the firing of former RNC chair Ronna McDaniel from NBC. NBC News terminated its contract with McDaniel after just 4 days. According to a memo and apology that NBC Universal News Group chairman Cesar Conde issued to staff, McDaniel's hiring was not conducive to a cohesive and aligned newsroom. Yeah, so not conducive to an echo chamber. Occasionally, she might disagree with Joy Reid or something like that. When asked to weigh in on the controversial decision, Zakaria pointed out that the arguments to remove McDaniel were not fair to both conservatives and liberals. They say, no, it's not about that. It's that she lied, Zakaria said of McDaniel's firing from NBC. Well, Bill Clinton lied under oath. I think last time I checked, he's been on MSNBC. They say, well, she's an election denier. Well, Stacey Abrams was an election denier about her own election, and they've had her on. He's fundamentally correct. God damn, I'm agreeing with Zakaria of all people. It's like Vox calling out the unaffordable housing situation under Bidenomics, actually, literally I've talked about that this morning. Things have gone a little bit topsy-turvy. There's change in the air. It must be the eclipse coming. Be doing some rituals for that. Gelato Ben, what do you think of the outsized Jewish influence in modern conservative movements, e.g. Daily Wire, Fox, and neocons? Do you avoid the topic because of the censorship? No, I don't avoid the topic at all. Yeah, there are a lot of Jewish people that work for groups like the Daily Wire, Fox, etc. They're for various reasons. Part is that these networks, it's almost like a proto-DEI sort of thing. They figure, like, if somebody attacks, therefore, the person that they've got as the talking head and they happen to be a Jew, that they can just say it's anti-Semitism and they can brush it aside. I've noticed that other networks, especially on the far left, have begun going in the other direction, like on the Israel v. Palestine thing. And they'll have, like, Islamic hosts and stuff like that. And then they can say, well, you know, you want Gazan orphans to be pit bombed if you oppose our coverage or something like that. There's a lot of id poll to go around. It's a bunch of fucking horseshit, actually. Just looking over and admiring my plants briefly. We've got almost 4,000 people watching live. Thank you very much. Google will delete billions of browsing records to settle privacy lawsuit, according to a court filing. The 2020 class action lawsuit accused the search engine of illegally collecting millions of users' data without their knowledge while they used incognito mode. Hey, by the way, memo to people. If you're using any mainline site or service, so Google, any of the main browsers, etc., it does not matter whether you switch on privacy mode or something like that. Your data is still being gone through. It is still being collected. Yes, they're not supposed to. They've pledged not to. Google is not the only company doing this. Singling out Google, for the purposes of the lawsuit, is fine. Singling out Google as the unique villain or demon, as opposed to singling out the entirety of big tech as having done things like this, is asinine. Facebook has done this. All of Meta's subgroups do this. Fucking Telegram does this. Don't get me started on that and all the weird shit that's over there. It's the reason I don't use it. Mainly because somebody's impersonating me on Telegram, and I tried to tell them about this, and I never got a reply. So I'm like, well, then your service clearly doesn't give a fuck about me, so fuck you. Snapchat, YouTube in general, subjugate of Google, of course, any of those services. If you're using blogs, if you're posting comments on legacy media websites, you get fucking CNN or Fox or something, all that data is being collected and by multiple firms. The fact is that switching incognito mode on does not shield you from Google looking through your dirty laundry. And I think that what happened is that people thought that it was because they're fucking stupid, and they thought that there was actually private browsing. As part of the settlement, Google also agreed to inform users that it collects data in incognito mode and make it so third-party trackers are turned off by default when using the feature. Well, that's perfectly fine. Google must delete billions of data records that are older than 9 months, the filing states. We'll see if they actually delete it. They probably get a backup of it. So, you know, if I was using incognito, if I was bothering to do that, I wouldn't give a fuck. The ace of all trades. That's about all. Peace out. No, it's not all yet. Not by a long shot. By the way, we've got a special announcement. I figured that I would announce this now. I will be going on live with the Quartering tomorrow. Yes, I am his new part-time co-host, actually, on his show. That goes at, I believe it was 5 or 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be on there after my own live stream. I'll do my live stream. It's probably going to be snowy, drizzly mix, so unfortunately, I'm not going to get outside to do any gardening. And then on the Quartering show, I will be on board there. It's an interesting proposal. I like the Quartering, actually. I mean, he was the one that helped me with Fidium, getting that sort of set up. He had messaged me asking me not to overlap with his time slot because he's contractually obligated to his slot with a Rumble deal. And I said, okay, that's, because I sort of understand. I don't want to step on anyone's toes, so to speak. And then he helped me with the Fidium. He's been very helpful. So I was glad when he decided to query me about that. Yeah, some people have a problem with him, but here's the thing. Some people have a problem with me too. Some people have a problem with anyone. I can remember when I was co-hosting with Ramsey Paul, some of his audience was like, oh, why do you have this Libertarian on here? And I think I'm chuckling to myself. I'm like, oh, me and Ramsey get along. We don't always see eye to eye on fucking everything. When we had certain guests on, there could be a little bit of fireworks at the time. I think Loomer, I believe, if I remember correctly, she was on. And I mean, I like Loomer. I don't have a problem with her, but I challenged her on a couple things with regards to her views. And, it went maybe beyond that purview, and it was funny. It's fun. I'm not going to silence myself. And if I disagree with the quartering on his broadcast, I'll bring that up, by the way. But generally speaking, I think that our views, especially on tech, I think that our views are pretty much in line. So it's going to be fun. I'm enjoying this timeline. Sigilstone, if you're going on with the quartering, you're going to start writing for the Publica next. ProPublica? No. I mean, I use Substack sporadically. Virgil Shadow, going to the Philippines for a few months later this year, but tourist visas usually only last 30 days. Any recommendations? Hold it to 30 days. I wouldn't want to go to a foreign country and break the law. Yeah, usually tourist visas usually in most countries last 90 days. That's usually the cutoff. I know it is in the Netherlands. It's in the United States, I think it's 90 days, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Ain't traveled in a bit. And then the final news story, and this is one that I found very, very interesting. Let me make some predictions, too, based on this. AI improves monsoon rainfall predictions. Yes, indeed, machine learning is capable of making better forecasts for where monsoons will hit, how long they will last, their severity, and so forth than humans. And this is something that I've talked about before. AI systems, or computers in general, are better than any human being can possibly be on singular tasks. The most savant mathematician in the world is not going to be able to work out calculations anywhere near as fast as the standard calculator can. And that's just a fucking calculator in the right hands, of course. The calculator will outperform them. It's multitasking that robots and shit have a problem with. Multitasking is not their forte. It's single tasking. If you therefore have a considerable computational capability, and you use AI or even standard programs, and you have the machine attempt to figure out what's going to happen based on historical data, you give it all the data that you have. Based on that data, it can predict weather patterns weeks in advance of any meteorologist, no matter how trained. It can run calculations that are too complex for any person to figure out in their head. It can compose music. It can make art. It can do anything that a human can do better than any human can do it. The problem is it's all very singular. It's very linear. A machine, a robot especially, even hooked up to AI, is going to have difficulty in multitasking. That is doing several complex things at once. But if you focus it to just one complex thing, so you don't need a robot able to perambulate around like Mark Zuckerberg, you only need it to do one thing. Run the calculations or look at the historical data or something, it will always outperform. AI is going to be massively transformative in many areas of society. I would say some of the big ones, medicine, it's already being used for that. Medicine is going to take leaps and bounds due to AI. Meteorology would be a big one. Seismology, any of those sciences. One thing I wouldn't worry about, though, is meteorologists losing their jobs. They'll still be there. They're going to still need to feed the data into the computer, and somebody's still going to have to appear on the screen to tell you what the weather is going to be. It's just that they won't have to do as much guesswork. It'll revolutionize meteorology, absolutely. It'll be a great thing. By and large, I am AI positive, assuming that human bias does not creep into it, like we saw with Google's Gemini there, where they were deliberately making it woke. That's a mistake. That's not a guardrail. It's a terrible mistake. Clem Semple. Can you maintain quartering time slot from Europe? I would be able to, although it would be difficult, but right now I am in the United States. Moose, eating biltong and thinking of Styx's snow feet. Oh, goodness. My feet look like biltong? Oh, I need to go and see a podiatrist, I suppose. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's Meat and Eat. Free shipping for your biltong using code STICKS on www.biltongusa.com and www.antonsusa.com. Get your official Clank meat shipped right to your door. Hashtag Clank Nation. By the way, it is delicious. I get other delicious stuff over here. These don't come with a flameless ration heater. I'm not sure about the beans and potatoes, though, man. Like I said, I've never had an MRE potato component that came out particularly well. The garlic mashed potatoes, for example, I mean, it's sort of like, you can get it from a box, instant. It's the same thing. But it has a weird scent to it, almost an acidic, like an acrid scent. And I don't exactly know why. And so I'm not necessarily looking forward to that one as much as I am the bean salad. Beans, they do beans really well. Any entree with beans in it, mainly. The U.S. military, they've pretty much mastered that. By the way, that reminds me, I had an MRE dream last night, actually. I dreamed that I got an MRE pizza, but it was different from like the pizza slice they normally had. And I bit into it, and it was a bit biscuity, and it was a bit overcooked, actually, and didn't have much flavor to it. And I can't remember, there was a random person there, like somebody spawned in the dream, and I was remarking to them on it and saying, well, this isn't the same as the other pizza. It's like, and then I handed it to them, and they tried it, and they frowned, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's not very good. Sometimes I get weird dreams, dude. As the eclipse approaches, I've been getting many more of them, by the way. Maybe a foretelling sign. I got a moonstone in the other room. Yeah, I got to drain some occult energy and shit. The one sugary thing that I'll actually still imbibe. Mostly, I don't eat anything with significant amounts of sugar in it. I don't like sweets. But it has a nice creamy flavor. Doesn't have any whiskey in it, though, so it's not as fun. Cool. Jeremy is cool, says King of Biltong. Yes, indeed. I like the quartering. I'm going to have fun on that. Yeah, I'm going to be co-hosting 1 day a week on Wednesdays. We'll see where that goes. Maybe it can be even more of a full-time thing. I don't know. Depends on what he wants. It's his channel. Noah Schott, long-time listener, first-time tipper, hoping for a shout-out and good luck for my wife and I. We are headed to the hospital. My son is coming. Best to you and yours. Much love from Texas. Congratulations. Have a good time. And yes, good luck to you. You will not need luck. It will be fine. Telegram. Yeah, Telegram, there's a lot of spammy shit from Telegram. Like, people are always posting Telegram links on Twitter. Oh, come and see my Telegram, nudes in bio and stuff like that. It's on like every fucking post that I make. I try to block these people, but it's never enough. They always just make new bot accounts. And that's just on one site. They used to try to do Snapchat spam on YouTube. That was the big thing there. It's crazy. I'm not interested in Telegram. I mean, if they're not even going to give me a message back saying what the fuck is going on when somebody is clearly impersonating me on the platform, and I say, look, I can give you my ID. I can make a goddamn video on YouTube and prove that it's actually me emailing you. And so, I'd rather people not be impersonating me on other sites, potentially for fucking spammy purposes. And if they're not even willing to give me a message back, then I'm just like, why the fuck should I use your service? Why should I gratify you? Wagnervik Gaming. If you're in Wisconsin, remember to defeat Zuckerbucks. Go vote. Also, Sticks, your garden will be amazing. Best wishes for you and your family. Peace out. Yeah, I've got to get a lot more supplies for the garden. I don't know what I'm going to do with the biochar at this point. I could just add it in situ, I suppose. You don't technically need to charge the charcoal if you're only adding some of it. It won't drain much nitrogen from the soil, and then you simply water the soil with a good, strong quality fertilizer, and it'll charge again while it's laying in the dirt. I've thought of that, and I did do that before, and it didn't seem to negatively impact the plants. It kind of depends on how much you're adding. And I can do it again in the fall, do the other half or something like that. So I'm thinking about putting down a tarpaulin, putting a load of the charcoal on it, and then doing the James Brown dance. Just shuffle across it until it's crushed up fairly finely, and then just adding it directly to the soil handful by handful. It does do wonders. There's still charcoal in some of that dirt out there that I added 6 years ago, so it lasts a long time. By the way, the soil in some areas of that garden is already superb. Snuffleupagus quartering is good. Will make for a good show. Sounds fun. Clank. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I haven't done the co-hosting thing in a while since I left Ramsey Paul's show, and that was because of the time difference. I figured I was forcing him to go really early in the morning, and it was difficult for me as well, the time slot, because I have my own live streams and things, so I had to call it quits. I like Ramsey Paul, though. I like his content. Again, we don't always agree. You know, occasionally we disagree with one another on Twitter, and it's quite funny, but yeah, good content overall. Like the dude. Some people think that he's like a big-time Nazi or something, like he's trying to revive the Ku Klux Klan, and I'm like, I'm laughing my ass off at these people. Leftoids, though, they don't understand hyperbole. Oh, by the way, another thing to show off. This will be fun for a video. I got cotton seeds. I'm going to be starting some of those inside actually as well. I'm going to have a bunch of those. Thinking about putting a gollywog in the middle of them and then just randomly making a garden video just to fucking piss people off. And I'll be in blackface. I've got plenty of charcoal. What are they going to do? They can't really ban me just for having charcoal on my face. Having a gollywog in the garden's not bannable. Hell, I can sing Mammy, and that's not bannable either. It's just very on the nose. I like pissing people off once in a while. I find it funny. And I'm the least racist person that I actually know. You want real racism? Talk to some of those NIMBYist white liberals. Get them loaded. Get 3 drinks into them and see what happens. They won't be making jokes about it either. They'll be, I mean, you'll get some philosophical, well, wannabe philosophical college kid, some really white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed NIMBYist from the upper Northwest or something. Get them loaded. And they'll start seriously trying to convince you that it's a good idea to bring slavery back. And they're not being joking when they say this. They're not making a joke. Pumpkin Firecrafts, 1 out of 2. Just sent you pics on Twitter of the new spoons I'm now getting from Liberty Tabletop. They are pre-done handles. I also have more I'm still working on with handles I will engrave myself still. Okay, I'll check that out after the live stream. Sounds good. Kathleen Green, let's see Styx do a James Brown dance. I actually can do the little foot shuffle thing. I can also moonwalk. People wouldn't believe it. Maybe I'll do that on camera sometime. I don't know. Feels a little bit weird, you know. Literally, I'm doing the brown sugar shuffle for tips. All those NIMBYist white liberals, they would gladly do that. They don't even need the money for it, by the way. Some of these people, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, they're rich as fuck, and they have these weird opinions that normally you would ascribe to. Like if I listen to like NPR or something, I would think, if that were my only source of news, I would think suspender snappers living in the mountain, the Ozarks, or deep in the Green Mountains, or the Catskills or something. They're the ones that have those opinions. But it's exactly the opposite. Native Vermonters, we don't give a fucking goddamn shit what color your skin is. I don't care. But the out-of-staters that go to UVM, they care. They're the ones that are going to lock their car doors when they see you walking by. I've had this experience before. I can attest to it personally on multiple levels. Joe Ben, hey, Styx, do you use the Farmer's Almanac for the planting dates? Longtime listener, you're the best. No, although I do like the Farmer's Almanac. Yeah, the old Farmer's Almanac is fun to read, but I don't really believe in that sort of thing. Basically, I've got it sort of down pat when I plant. Like in a week, I'll be planting the cool weather crops. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of snowy iciness or something, because they're cool weather crops. They prefer cooler temperatures when they germinate. Hot weather crops I put out generally on either May 10th or 15th, depending on the weather forecast for that week. And if I can get them in on the 10th, that's fine. 15th is fine too, because I'm starting them indoors myself this year as opposed to getting seedlings from the store. Well, most of them. Some of them I'll have to get from the store. And get some seed onions. I do have Heritage Heirloom seeds, onion seeds, but I do want to also put out like an onion set as well. And I got to get potatoes, of course, and get them at Agway. And a follow-up by Pumpkin Fire Crafts. They are made in New York, and they supply the military with silverware. Also included is one of the cutting boards I have done. Hopefully we will have it posted later this week. Thank you, Clankers. That sounds great. Yeah, I get all sorts of cool shit all of the fucking time. People send me the most zany things in the world, and I fucking love it. Fringe Benefit. Going up on 45 minutes, actually, already here. We've got, let's see. Just a sec. I'm looking at other potential news headlines while I'm at it. A night out with Trump's favorite alpha male influencer. Well, it's a Slate article, so who's the name? Who's the alpha male? Nick Adams, okay, from Australia, whose viral social media posts have earned him prominence in the MAGA movement. He's an official surrogate for Trump since the 2020 election, appearing on talk shows across the political spectrum to defend the ex-president with a pit bull's determination. On his website, Adams calls himself the godfather of the Alpha King movement, inspiring his 3 million plus social media followers to level up in every aspect of their lives. So, in other words, self-improvement guru. What's the problem with that? Slate doesn't want you to self-improve. They want you to be reliant on government. That's the ultimate answer. Spike 11117. If you watch the stock market, you can see a lot of commodities are going up in price, a great indicator for rising inflation. Well, yeah, I mean, we have Bidenflation at the moment. It's rather sad, actually. Transgender Day of Visibility versus Easter. Blasey Ford is no hero if justice is the measure. Representative Khanna wants to be the future of the Democratic Party. Fucking good luck with that, by the way. Now, the future of the Democratic Party looks bleak right now, considering the polling, but we'll see what happens. Personally, I would like them to collapse, and hopefully then you get a party of JFK sort of thing going, and they can return to some degree of civic populism. If they did that, I would consider voting for the Democrats, but they're stubbornly resisting it. They keep whining and dining the far left. That's the really big problem. The Democratic Party effectively tried to create a broader umbrella approach, and this dates to Clinton, basically. And it worked. It worked for a generation, but it stopped working because the id poll is wearing off. They don't seem to understand that more than 20 years has passed since then, and a lot of the ethnic blocs, especially, that they were whining and dining, before most of them were first-generation immigrants. Now, most of them are second-generation immigrants, those that are actually legally eligible to vote. And they're not from Mexico or El Salvador or Venezuela. They were born and raised in the United States. They were born in Queens or something like that. And I think they've begun to look askance at the id poll messaging of the Democratic Party, whereby someone says, look, my grandparents came to the United States as immigrants, and they worked their fucking knuckles to the bone, and they did everything that they could. And they saved up money, and they sent my dad to college. And he goes to college, he gets a master's degree, he becomes like a chemist or a dentist or something. He makes it. I'm born. I go to college, and now I'm an entrepreneur. I sell cars. I design clothes or something. I've got a meaningful business. I'm making 6 figures, 7 figures, or something like that. And they're telling me that I'm exactly the same as someone who literally just floated across a river or forged across a mountainside and came into the country illegally. I would be personally insulted if people ignored completely my individualism, my individual circumstances, and conflated me with other people. This is why I don't do like the white pride thing and stuff like that. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I got pride in myself, and I just happen to be white. Yeah, I'm an asset to the white race. That's perfectly fine, but that's not the source of my power. It's my individualism. Some people call me naive for believing in that. That's okay. Tasmanot sticks in blackface singing "Mammy" in the garden when "Mammy, Mammy, I'm coming. Oh Lord, I hope I'm not too late." Yeah, I can do that. I do the sand shuffle or something like that. The little old sand dance, little old breakdown there, brown sugar shuffle, just to piss people off. I don't give a fuck if you're black. That's perfectly fine. Some of the people watching right now are black. I have no problem with you. I don't give a fuck. You're a clanker. I don't care what skin color you have, what your national origin is, who you want to bang, how you want to bang, and what your gender is, you know? And vaginas are better than dicks, but, you know, nobody cares. Just saying, I'm super straight. Can't get it. I don't swing both ways. Yeah. Some people think that I do because of a joke post that I made back in like fucking 2009, where I claimed to be bisexual because there were a bunch of fundamentalist Christians at the time. The old authoritarians were all fundamentalists, right? And so they'd pour into my channel because of my username, and they would, you know, raise hell. Oh my God, you need to come to Jesus. You're going to hell and stuff like that. And so I decided, you know, if they're going to be pissed off at me, I'm going to piss them off even more. So I said that I was bisexual in one fucking single post. Still gets infinitely replicated as though it was reality. It's just like that one time I wore heavy makeup during the Hillary Clinton video. I think it was the name? The BBC encourages people to vote for Hillary Clinton. Basically, fuck that. And I had heavy makeup on. My girlfriend put it on me at the time. And people thought I was cross-dressing. I'm like, okay, well, then I guess that every gothic dude out there is a cross-dresser. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck. I literally don't care. Everyone should do what they want to do as long as it's not harming anybody else. To the maximum extent, I am a libertarian. I don't believe in statelessness because, then you get mob rule. That's probably worse, actually, than a state that's at least constitutionally constrained, but who gives a fuck? If somebody does want to cross-dress, I'm not going to look second at them. I don't give a fuck. Just don't perv on any kids or anything like that, and, it's totally fine by me. I don't care. Yeah, exactly. It's me again. No abusing kids. That's the litmus test. Don't perv on the kids. Do whatever perverted stuff you want in your own bedroom. I don't really give a shit. I've seen some weird stuff. I've been a 4chan user since the late 2000s, so I've been a little bit desensitized towards caring about these things. Make the conservatives as hard as the lefties. D-way. Yeah, I will say one thing, though, on behalf of conservatives, because I'm not one. I've had plenty of death threats and attempts at deplatforming, et cetera, from leftoids over the last few years. But even in the darkest hour, the fundamentalists never tried to deplatform me. They never tried to threaten me. The death threats that I got mainly were from people of different political persuasions and stuff like that. It wasn't from fundamentalist Christians. It's from neocons more than anything else. That doesn't happen with right-wingers. It's not the same. Right-wingers don't really do the deplatforming thing. Hell, they barely do the boycotting thing, and then only half-assedly, unless it's Bud Light or some of these other companies lately in the last year or two. The leftoids are the ones that do that. They're the ones that the right wing will try to speak over you, but the left wing will try to prevent you from speaking at all. Well, I don't like either of those, but the conservative movement tends to be more in favor of free expression. It's just that sometimes it's hyperbolic expression. They're not the same. And that's what I've come to the conclusion of. Back in the day, mainly I sparred with people that were on the ideological right, at least within the United States. People with high-end religious views, Baptists and stuff like that, Mormons sometimes too. And that destiny cult there. They tried to deplatform me and they failed spectacularly. God, if I dogpiled them now with my audience size, they'd cease to exist. It was that cult. They had that one semi-attractive South African girl, the Boer there. And she would pretend to go into trances and speak for dead people. And they had that one bald black dude there that was also a representative. He fucking hated my guts. And he'd say like the weirdest shit about, talking to the dead and the need to join their movement and stuff. And it was really, really weird at the time. And it was a literal cult. I think they're still operative. The Destiny cult, DESTINI, I think, or something like that. Now you've got a separate Destiny cult with the content creator, but I'm white, prefer much puddin', don't care her color is. It's all pink inside, right? No, I never really cared about person's race or religion or something like that. I'm anti-religious, and I wear that on my wrist. But at the same time, I'm not anti-spiritual. I've got my own spiritual beliefs. And they're just as crazy as thinking that there's a dude up in the sky that looks down on you every moment and watches you shit anyway. So I'm no hypocrite. Again, you will get none of that on this channel. By the way, to Mr. Garrett, if you're watching, I do have your money order ready for those delicious vegetable lasagna MREs. Yes, I've got a whole round half dozen coming. I will get that in the mail in the next couple of days. So don't worry, it's I've already signed off on it. It's already been purchased. I just thought that I'd put that out there. I don't know if he's watching or not. Vegetarian MREs. I'm surrounded by militaria. When I go into the bedroom, half the room is filled with MREs and guns and blades and helmets and body armor and fatigues and crazy shit. Looks like I'm living a real-life Fallout game. I love it. Saxon Violets, War on the Dance Floor. I don't know if I've heard that song. I'll look that up. Just don't talk about blood on the dance floor. War on the Dance Floor. Have I heard this? Oh, I accidentally wart on the dance floor. Nakhmar. Yeah, that's probably pretty good, based on the picture there. Sticking a gun in his mouth. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's probably my kind of music. Today's a little bit of a slow day, I've noticed. I think that a lot of people are sort of hungover from Easter at the moment. Yeah, we call the day after Easter. I know it was April Fool's Day, but we call it a leftover day. And my dad made a ham and split pea soup. And boy, let me tell you, It was fucking good. There's going to be more leftovers tonight. I shouldn't wonder. Thankfully, my uncle comes over on Tuesdays to visit because we're going to need an extra stomach to deal with some of the remnant. And there's still cabbage in there. And I had a bunch last night. I had a bunch of carrots and cabbage and bread and a little more ham, some soup, other things, a bunch of peanuts, actually. I always eat salted peanuts when I am in the garden. They are perfect. High protein, high fat, low carb profile, so you get the lasting energy. Some salt so you don't dehydrate. And you just chug down some water or whatever other fluid you happen to want to drink. For some of you, that's a pointed statement. Fergus Daniels. Hey, Sticks, long-time watcher, first-time donator. My family thinks you look like Jesus. Also, what was the name of those mushrooms you took that enhanced your strength? I'm trying to win a bet. That reminds me. I did want to shout out the Radiant Energy. What's the fucking cultivated-mind.com. I've been using these for a couple of weeks, and no, this is not paid endorsement. This is just me promoting the product because I happen to be using it. And it's with, just a sec, cordyceps, M extract, reishi, and chaga. And I don't know by what chemical methodology they work, but they do give me a burst of energy, and it lasts for a long time, much longer than caffeine. The creator is right. You do not want to use these before bed. You probably would stay up. They smell just, like a little bit mushroomy. They're not unpalatable or anything like that. They're in little gel capsules. I don't know how they work. And disclaimer, this is not health advice. This is not like FDA approved as your daily supplement or something like that. But it does, in my opinion, in my anecdotal experience, yeah, it does give you a burst of energy. I haven't changed anything else about the way that I do things. I drink one energy drink in the morning. I don't eat in the mornings, of course, because I need to maintain energy, and I don't ever eat breakfast. I just eat a big dinner usually, and then I snack after dinner, and that seems to work for me. I don't know how they work, but they work, at least for me. And so I would officially endorse them. Radiant Energy, again, cultivated-mind.com. If you could send me some more if you're watching, I would really appreciate it because, this will last about 3 more weeks, I think, or maybe 4. South African military surplus. Ooh, Monkey Bomb. Just a second here. What do we have here? South African military rations? Thank you for sending me this link. Of course I'm brave enough to try them. 24-hour ration packets. Oh, yeah. Oh, those look more advanced than the old style that Steve ate. Menu 1, menu 2. Oh, they got multiple menus. The big ones are in stock. The small ones are outside. It probably costs an arm and a leg, but yeah, definitely I'll try one of those. Dude, I've eaten cow stomach soup and buffalo testicles and things like that. I'm sure that an MRE packed in South Africa will be no problem for me. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you very much, Monkey Bomb Studios. You officially get a shout out. Well, we'll see if... Oh, you want to send me one? Oh, hell yeah, I'll pay for shipping at least. Or I can just buy one myself. I mean, I'm not going to impose upon you, but yeah, I mean, if people want to send me military rations or any weird food that they happen to have lying around, I'm your man. I got some more of the sauce, actually, the other day. I'm going to be doing a shout out for that. The first batch, one of the bottles broke, unfortunately. The Niflheim sauce there. The one with the Serranos broke, and there's going to be an official Sticks Hexenhammer hot sauce. Intermediate heat with poblano and lots of smoky flavor, smoked garlic and so forth. It has to ferment for a while, so it'll be a while till it's ready. I mean, you should see the goddamn shelf out there in the kitchen. There's probably 100 bottles of hot sauces, rubs, and seasonings out there at this point. I mean, it's a lifetime supply, almost. And I love it. Anton has sent me some. I've had about a dozen people send me stuff like that. Sigil Stone, ever play RimWorld? Been getting into it, harvesting organs and shit. Fun game. We need to start a Clankers game server or something. That'd be funny. Yeah, Monkey Bomb, DM me on Twitter. If you want to send me one of those ration packets, I will definitely eat that shit. I'll eat it live. I won't even do a one-off video. I mean, I was considering eating one of these, but I know the beans and potatoes are probably not great. I'm just going to take a wild guess. I mean, I'll do a video for them. I'll review it, but I have a feeling this is going to be on par with the white chicken chunks. The bean salad, I am much more hopeful for. Anything that's heavy on the beans in military rations from the U.S. tends to be top grade. Vegetable lasagna, the bean inclusion in other meals is really, really good. And also cheesy things for some reason. Anything, though, with potatoes, they just don't understand. They've just never mastered it. That and chicken. Chicken and potatoes, if you had a ration that was just that, the soldiers would probably shoot themselves in the field when they got that. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's me again, Sai. We need to find something disgusting to send to Styx for him to eat on camera. I like this proposal. Yeah, we can do a Disgust Styx challenge. Send me anything that's going to be safe for me to eat. If I think that it's unsafe, like it's moldy or something, or the can is bulging, I'm not going to eat it. Anything else, though, if you send me weird shit, yeah, I'll eat it. I mean, Christ, in the last month, I've eaten sea lion meat, which was good. I've eaten whale meat, which was exquisite, by the way. Eaten a tarantula, all sorts of stuff. I mean, you've got one life to live. You might as well explore, right? Do some traveling. I want to get to Japan, actually, and see all the weird shit you can get there. And I really want to go to the Philippines, because I imagine that the food there is spectacular. And Vietnam, lots of lemongrass, which I really, really like. I want to see some of the Asian countries. I'd like to get to Latin America. I mean, can you imagine the food in Argentina? Their steakhouses are all over the place for a reason, by the way. Yeah, Sigil Stone, unfortunately, shipping cheese can be legally challenging. Sort of like Kinder Eggs. You know, you go over to Europe, you can get Kinder Eggs. You can't get them here. Try importing one to the United States. I think it's a maximum $2,000 fine per Kinder Egg, which makes no sense. It's like, okay, if you give it to a child and they choke, then there's already legal liability. But the FDA says that American children are too retarded to figure that out. You're not actually supposed to swallow the plastic capsule inside? I am flummoxed by this situation. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. Oh, we've got one more super chat. Please send no more. Jim Morrison, try the raw horse meat in Japan. Pretty good. I will try horse if I can find it. Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. Keep in mind, again, tomorrow I will do my normal live stream, but I will also be on with the Quartering. Yes, his show, 5 or 5:30 p.m. I can't remember exactly. Be on there for about 90 minutes to 2 hours or thereabouts. And we're going to have some fun. There's going to be some bants about news and current events. Yes, indeed. 1 day a week. I am now his new co-host, part-time. It's going to be great. That's about all. Peace out.